Hey everyone, my name is Wedge. This was bound to happen sooner or later. As many of you know, Magic Origins brought with it a blast from the past, Goblin Piledriver. When it was spoiled, I promised you that it was going to make an impact. There are already lists floating around Magic Online and doing well at bigger events. It's just a matter of time before these little devilish menaces take over the world. I can't believe I'm about to increase the visibility of this deck. What has this channel become? Remember when we just covered control decks? Those good times. Oh. Anyways, if you enjoyed deck techs like these, basically not $500 / not boring deck lists, then please hit the like button. It helps out way more than you think it does, the more you know. Okay, mono red goblins. Time to hate ourselves. This is an aggro tribal deck. Your goal is to flood the board with value goblin creatures, make them huge, and win before your opponent can cast multiple languish off the top of their deck. Yes, multiple, because that's how fast you recover. This is a mono red deck, so the land base won't take very long. 20 mountains, that's it. I will say, one thing I like about mono red aggro decks is the easy land base, just mountains, how beautifully simple. We have 30 spells in the deck that put creatures on the board. Let's start at the bottom. We're running playsets of Monastery Swiftspear and Foundry Denizen, in addition to 3 copies of Frenzied Goblin and Goblin Glory Chaser. These are the premier one-drop creatures for us. T-Swift isn't a goblin, but the card is just too good to pass up. A 1-mana 1/2 with prowess will always be an aggressive red deck no matter what the sub-theme is. It just makes sense. The Denizen synergizes with the rest of the deck since we only really drop red creatures. Glory Chaser punishes slow draws, and as you'll see in a little bit, won't be that fun to block anyways, so Renown will trigger a lot. And the Frenzied Goblin tells Courser or Crewfix to shut up every single turn. Supremely important to have, but not necessarily as important to have 4 of it. Our only real 2-drop in the deck is Goblin Piledriver himself. He's dominated multiple formats in the past, one of them being Standard, and is infamous as being one of, if not the best goblin to ever be printed. The card's insane. Can't be disrupted by blue, and gets so big from other goblins it isn't even funny. Use a Frenzied Goblin to clear the path, and the Piledriver will oftentimes hit your opponent on turn 3 for at least 5 damage. It's unreal, honestly. Obvious inclusion, and obviously a playset. Our last creature playset is Goblin Rabblemaster. We all know by now how good the Rabblemaster is. Put it in a deck with the Piledriver and it's just unfair. The synergy of creating goblins and those goblins buffing the Piledriver is hilariously strong and presents so much damage at once, your opponent will have a tough time living through even just a few turns. Seriously, you get Rabblemaster and Piledriver to stick together, I don't know how you lose to anything, ever. Even though we're done with our 22 creatures, we still have 8 spells that poop goblins. Playsets of both Dragon Fodder and Hordeling Outburst easily make the cut, no explanation needed here. Both make multiple tokens, all of those tokens are goblins. They all synergize really well with Foundry Denizen and Monastery Swiftspear, and they give more fuel to the Piledriver's trigger, no brainer. Oh, by the way, they also synergize with the last 10 cards in the deck, you're all gonna love this. For Stoke the Flames, because when goblins aren't enough, you gotta burn stuff to the ground. Convoke makes this super easy to cast at any point in the game, and 4 toughness is a magic number for your deck. Courser or Crewfix is kind of a butt. I don't know if you know that, but it is. Even if you don't need to kill a creature, Stoke can go right to the dome. You're dealing damage so quickly, taking 20% of their starting life total with 1 spell, that you can cast comfortably at instant speed. This card is broken in any red deck, but especially this one. The last 6 cards in the deck are Anthem effects. 2 Hall of Triumph, while being the first card I would take out of the deck, is still very, very good for what it does. Dropping this after a creature on turn 1 and a Dragon Fodder on turn 2 is crazy powerful. Most players won't see it coming and the damage piles on quickly. Especially when you flood the board like this deck does. All your goblins being base 2/2s? Come on, that's gross. Speaking of gross, the last playset in the deck is Obelisk of Urd. This is a card more players will expect from you. You can convoke it out unreasonably early, it puts all your goblins out of Drown in Sorrow range, and if it isn't answered immediately, it will win you the game. No one can fight 3/3 goblins. No one. They need a languish or they just die. Even if they do wipe your board, this stays. The 2-for-1s you'll create with the Obelisk, I almost want to play this deck. Wait, no, I don't, shut up. Luckily, this deck is relatively easy to play. You drop creatures on a curve, decide when the right time is to cast your Anthem effects or Stoke the Flames, then just keep hitting your head on the table until you go unconscious or the blood covers all their creatures and they give up. Disclaimer, the mana source does not support you bashing your head against the table until you bleed, but you get what I'm saying. You keep attacking forever, like until the game is over, just forever. Sideboard time. This is a bit complicated since you won't want to remove most anything you're playing. Unlike other strategies, Mono Red Goblins does what it does regardless of what it's against. In many cases, you'll be lucky to sideboard more than a couple cards. It's really only super specific cards you're looking to fight against. Roast is an amazing sideboard card against Obzan, Tassiger, and Siege Rhino, both of them down. It also kills Courser, which is important. Rending Volley is particularly good against Blue-White Heroic, anything still running Wingmate Rock, Soulfire Grandmasters, Manus Rider, you get it, the card has uses. Besides those staples, your sideboard should change depending on your local meta. Some metas are very aggro-heavy. Scouring Sands is great for that. Some are grindy. Outpost Siege is particularly good tech. Find yourself up against the Mirror or another deck running some early to mid-game creatures, Searing Blood is a blowout, especially to flip Den Protectors, ouch. Listen, the main board is what really matters. Your job is to hit fast and hit hard. While sideboards are important, it's a little less important this time around, again, except for Roast and Rending Volley. I feel like those are the strongest sideboard plays you can make. I feel like the best part about this list is that it isn't $500. The Piledrivers, Rabblемasters, and Obelisks aren't super cheap, but on TCG Player you can build this for easily under $130 using low prices. I know that sounds like a lot, but compared to most standard decks right now, it really isn't at all. Lastly, and this is a weak point for the deck, there aren't really any substitutions you can make for the expensive cards in the deck, none. You need the Piledrivers, you need the Rabblемasters, you need the Obelisks, and you need Stoke the Flames, you just do. If there were budget alternatives for this that would keep the deck competitive, I'd tell you, but there really aren't right now. If you want to pummel things into oblivion, you'll have to pay up, at least a little bit. Well, what do you think about Mono Red Goblins? Is this a deck you would consider playing? Any changes to the strategy you'd make? I'd love to hear them. This list has been going around for a few days now, and I've been in love with it, so if you have any questions, ask away. I'll be around to answer. Also, let me know what decks you want to see in the future. This is a channel for you, after all. As always, subscribe for the latest and most reliable Magic the Gathering information you could ever need. This is the Mana Source. I'm Wedge. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.